Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video we're gonna go over HighTide's Q2 results that just came out right now. So today HighTide reported its second quarter 2021 financial results, featuring a 99% increase in revenue and another record adjusted EBITDA of $4.7 million. So every ER that we get from this company has always been a better and stronger one than the previous year. And that just gets me so excited because you got to take into consideration that this company and every other company has been in a global pandemic, shutdown, lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. Operations have not been at full capacity, especially in Canada. Everything has been locked down. We are just opening up right now. So I just want you guys to remember that this company is putting up these numbers while not even at full capacity. Wait till Canada opens up. Wait till US gets federally legalized. The sky is the limit here for HighTide, and that's what gets me even more excited that they're able to pull out a 99% increase in revenue during a lockdown period, which is absolutely unheard of. While other companies are filing for bankruptcy and absolutely drowning in debt, HighTide continues to outperform. So let's look at the highlights here that we've seen in this 2021 Q2 earnings call. So our revenue increased, like we said, 99% to $40 million in 3 months. So $40 million in 3 months is equivalent to $160 million in a year. And so when we're looking at a company that has a market cap of 400 million, that is able to generate 160 million in a year during a lockdown, so they make 40% of their market cap in a single year, and this still hasn't included any of the revenues that we're going to generate from our recent acquisitions. So these Q2 results did have earnings from our other acquisitions of Meta as well as Smoke Cartel. So we have yet to see anything from Fab CBD as well as our recent acquisition of Daily High Club. And so again, these are just more acquisitions that are going to lead to more revenue, which are just going to make our company even more grossly undervalued once we actually start to see the revenues on the board. But let's continue through these highlights. Our gross profit increased 93% to 15 million in 3 months. Now I just want to show you guys something real quick. So this was a gross profit of 15 million. I want to take you guys here to Sundial's ER. And so I was looking at theirs just for a comparison's sake because they're trading at $1.8 billion market cap. And so I wanted to see exactly what their gross profit on their sales were. And so you can see gross margin right here is negative. If we look at their net loss, extremely negative. If we look at their revenue right here, net revenue, nowhere near the levels that we're seeing here with HighTide. And remember, HighTide is trading 4 times less than Sundial Growers. And so when I look at this ER here from Sundial, which is from their most recent earnings as well, they are losing a lot of money. And so it's just not looking good overall here for Sundial. And so then it just makes me even more bullish overall on HighTide, because as HighTide is in a very difficult market. The cannabis market is not easy to turn a profit, especially when you're competing with the black market as well as competition elsewhere with other companies. So the fact that they keep turning a profit during a lockdown, I need to emphasize the during the lockdown part, because this is a company that's not even running at full capacity yet, that is still able to make a positive return as well as continue to grow their own company. So their gross profit margin up 37% compared to 38%, so we continue to grow there. Our adjusted EBITDA was the highest it's ever been, 4.7 million compared to 1.8. Geographically, we have 35 million of our revenue coming here from Canada, 5.7 from the US, and 0.2 internationally. So this 5.7 continues to increase, and it's going to continue to increase because we've made so many e-commerce acquisitions from the States. And remember, still not federally legalized. So once that becomes federally legalized, I could potentially see sales in the US actually pass the sales of what we're seeing in Canada. And you can see Canada's doing a great job right now anchoring our sales, but I do believe that in the long run, we will actually see larger sales from the United States, which again should show you how much upside is in this company, who again just continues to make acquisitions in the United States, positioning themselves for the federal legalization, which in turn will only help the shareholder. And so finally, the last thing I just want to mention on this highlight is the cash on hand now is 29 million compared to 7.5. So we got an increase of 22 million cash. Our debt has significantly dropped. And so in terms of operational highlights, you can pause the screen here to look at everything you want to see. Biggest things for me that I wanted to see was our 23 million of debt got converted into shares. That was great to see. We actually reduced our interest rate on some of our payments. That was right here from 10 to 7. We almost made $1 million just on cannabis. They call it cannabis holiday. Wow, I didn't know that 420 was considered a holiday, but hey, I'm all for it if we're gonna make $1 million on that same day. And we know that the company has opened 13 cannabis stores under Canna Cabana, as well as the Meta banners, 5 in Ontario and 8 in Alberta. And so other stuff that this company has done throughout the quarter is mentioned here. If you want to pause this, kind of go over it for yourself just to see exactly what this company has been doing behind the scenes. I don't want to go through each and every single one, but if you are trying to do your due diligence, you should be reading through all of these. One thing that I just want to mention right here is the company announced the elimination of its senior secured debt. I love to see that. Anytime we can bring down debt or we can convert our notes into shares, I love to see. This company is just doing everything it needs to do to make things better for itself. For a company right now that is still in the growing phase, that had to deal with the lockdowns in quarantine, HighTide is performing well above my expectations for a cannabis company, which is a great thing to happen, especially me being a shareholder. I did end up picking up a ton more shares today before the bell. I took some profits from one of my other stocks and I put that money straight into HighTide because I wanted to have a very big position built out in this company, because I do believe that this is going to be the biggest player in the game, and not in terms of market cap, but in terms of the amount of profit that these guys are going to be able to turn. I do think that these guys have the formula down where they should be cash positive in years to come and generating tons and tons of cash flow. And so I'm very excited to see how this plays out in the years. I'm excited to see how shareholders are going to react to this tomorrow. We have got 2 earnings back to back that have been absolutely stellar, but our share price has gone down. And so I don't really know how long this HighTide slander is going to last. We need the share price to catch up to all the news that we have been seeing. And so all I can do, or anyone else can do, is compare HighTide to its peers. And so Sundial is one of the biggest names that people talk about. And so if we do that comparison side by side, it's not even close. HighTide should be well above what SNDL is. And so if we were actually to make the comparison, I believe that the market cap should be flipped a little bit, and we should have a 1.8 billion here for HighTide and a 400 there for SNDL. However, in the short term, the markets are irrational, but in the long term, they always do align. And so we are just waiting for that alignment. For looking at our stock chart right now, the biggest thing I would love to see HighTide do is break past 1193 level. I do think that investors are going to like what they saw here in this ER. Again, these acquisitions that they recently made haven't even been part of the revenues that we saw so far. And so for already 40% of our revenue is our market cap, imagine how much more we're going to have once we include our Fab CBD as well as our Daily High Club acquisition. So I'm excited to see what the price action leads to tomorrow. Today was a pretty stagnant day. We were down 2%. So I wanted to make this video as soon as possible so you guys know exactly how I'm feeling and how other people may be reacting to this news. If you guys liked what you saw in HighTide earnings, let me know in the comments. If you didn't and you wanted to see other stuff, let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about this company, because a lot of us, more information out there, the better for everybody. And so if you guys enjoyed this quick little update, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.